Well, hello. Thanks for checking on old Grandpa. You know, Grandpa's noticed something over the years. Now, I have been studying and preaching and teaching this old Bible for 40 years now. 40 long years. I don't pastor now. Now I go where invited to different churches that invite me up to speak. And I thought, well, why don't I do this Facebook thing? Learning how to do that, and YouTube and Twitter. And something that has been gnawing at me for years has really become prevalent as I have gotten on Facebook. I have become aware of something that I knew in the back of my mind. I knew it was there all the time. And I know now why. The world is in the shape that it's in. Why darkness is so prevalent in the world today. Why it's hard to get a Christian, a convert anymore. And the simple reason is there's nobody left to learn. What do you mean, Grandpa? Well, I mean this. Since I have been on Facebook and even going to different churches to preach, I have noticed one thing, and that is that everybody is a teacher. There's nobody left to learn anything. Everybody already knows everything. I was preaching at a church here a while back, up north from where I'm living now. I was there for the Sunday morning service. I was supposed to preach that Sunday morning and Sunday night. Well, I got there, to make sure I found the place. I got there for enough time. I got there, with the Sunday school. Well, I sat in and just, sat down, And this woman teacher they had up there, I don't really remember the subject she was talking on, but she got to the point about conscience and telling people, says, if people would quit following the Lord, would start following the Lord and quit listening to their conscience, everything would be a whole lot better. I just sat there. I never made a facial expression. I never did. But the woman looked at me and asked me, and she says, do you have anything you'd like to add? And that's where she made her mistake. I will say, and I will listen to anybody, but you ask me a specific question, I'm going to tell you the truth. So I had to explain to that woman that the conscience is your guide, that conscience is that small, still voice of Jesus Christ speaking to you, and that if you follow that conscience, you will never fall. Well, things rocked on. At Sunday, then Sunday school was over. It's time for the worship hour. Here come time for the preaching. The home pastor welcomed me up on the pulpit, and I preached. Went home with one of the deacons, had chicken dinner after church. At night we came back. We came back to church that night. I was supposed to preach again. Somewhere's in between the Sunday morning service and Sunday night there, the woman got to the pastor I know she did, because it's, you know, the pastor, he got up there and he started talking. He says, now, we are all the same here. No one knows more than the other, and, you know, just on and on and on. Well, you know, old Grandpa, he's sitting there, he said, you know, I know what he's saying. I know what he's doing, why he's saying it, who he's talking to. And I got to thinking in my mind, if everybody knows, if nobody knows any more than anybody else, why are you there? If we're all there, we all know that there's no need for a teacher. There's no need for a preacher. And that's what I'm finding out on Facebook. You know, I'm joined a couple of pages, Christian pages, study groups, and what have you. Everybody on there is a teacher. Everybody on there is a teacher. There's this one feller. He come over to my page, watch my videos, and he's always real apt to tell me real quick like that what I'm preaching is wrong. Which Grandpa, that don't bother Grandpa at all. If you don't agree with Grandpa, that's fine, that's fine. But what he'll do is that he'll type out the whole 24th chapter of Matthew and say, well, now this is what the Lord says about end time. This is what, that is true. That is very true. But what is it that he's saying? You know, a 5th grader can read Matthew 24. But does he understand what it is he's reading? What it's talking about? What the Spirit is saying? Now this same fella, you know, he was on another page with somebody else in a conversation. I don't remember what the comment was, what the subject they was talking about, but he said, you know, in the 42 years that I've been following the Lord, I think it was healing. I'm not for sure. But, you know, the 42 years that I have, you know, I have seen this, and I, you know, if that man has been following the Lord for 42 years, studying that Bible, he ought to know what it says instead of just believing physical nonsense. You know, I try to tell him, you know, this book is spiritual. Just talks about spiritual things. And he reads over me, and he tells me, he says, yes, I believe in the physical, and I will continue to stand up and declare the physical, proclaim, or whatever the nonsense it was he's writing. I said, well, go ahead. Go ahead. Has no idea of what he's talking about. But everybody and their sister is a teacher. I don't understand it. I just do not understand it. If everybody is a teacher, there's nobody left to teach. There's nobody left to learn. If all you folks out there in Facebook land and wherever out in the world, if all of you, what are you going to church for? What are you sitting under that pastor for? If you know everything already, you know, you can't teach somebody something that knows everything. It just cannot be done. But what are you going to church for? You ought to be up there teaching. Run that man out of that pulpit, you ought to be up there pastor. But then the next person over here has got to run you out because they're smarter than you are. Everybody's a teacher. It's just plumb stupid. The world has just gone stupid. That's all Grandpa would say. Spiritually stupid. I thank you for listening to me. Jesus Christ is coming soon. It's time for y'all to quit playing now and start to learn something. Y'all come back and check up on Grandpa again. Won't you do that? See ya.